Okay, I thought I'd do another bar stories real quick while I'm able to make videos right now, and I wanted to talk about this. This is one of the most interesting bar stories I have, and once again, it involves a bouncer at the other bar, and I'll make these clear to you if I ever go out and make a video of the area, and I'll kind of show you what I'm talking about. I might do that Wednesday. I think it's supposed to be warmer weather, and I don't think it's supposed to rain, so I may go and do that. It's quieter on Wednesday night over there. There's not as many people, so I can walk over and kind of do that. But yeah, this story starts at the other bar, not the one that I go to all the time with the pole in the middle. It's not this one. But one of the things I used to do is, I still do it until it gets real cold and I'm not able to stand outside. I go to the bar area. I'll leave the bar that I'm at and I'll walk over to the other one and just kind of look at people coming in and out, because I couldn't go in that bar for the longest time, and I'll give you the reasons. It's really stupid, but it's not me, it's them. You couldn't go in if you had sandals on because I can't wear shoes. I'm not able to wear shoes right now. Just not able because of my nervous system is so damaged. I'm not able to wear shoes, and I'm also not able to wear pants like jeans. And they used to say you couldn't wear shorts in there either. So you couldn't wear shorts and you couldn't wear sandals. Yeah, they said they had a lot of problems there. Don't ask me why. It's their rules. It's not mine. But they wouldn't let me come in, and they also wouldn't let you come in sweatpants. Fine, whatever. Whatever you want to, say. It's their rules. I can't do anything about it. They can make any stupid rule, prejudice rule they want to. I notice they let other people go in there, but I'm not going to deal with their nonsense. That's the reason I would stand outside, because I couldn't go in. So I would stand there. There was a little awning that would be in the middle of not at the bar area, but in the street. Like a little booth you could sit in. It had a bench and you could sit down because it's in the city. And I would stand there and just look at people coming in and going out. I usually went at about the time I knew they were getting ready to close, and people would come out. I'd kind of check out some of the girls. It was something to do. You get tired of nothing to do. And I went there, and I would notice that the bouncer, he'd glance over at me, but he never did nothing. He never said anything. And I would, no big deal, I've been going there forever. Nobody ever said nothing to me. Nobody ever bothered me, So I didn't think nothing about it, and I'd lean up. I was, public sidewalk. I'm standing there not bothering anybody. It's away from the bar. It's not like I'm standing at the gate. It's way away from it. And all of a sudden, one night it was chilly. It was cold. Not freezing cold, but enough that you might put a hoodie on and a jacket. And I had a hoodie on and a jacket that night. And I'm standing there and I'm looking around. Of course, people are coming outside. And there's this police officer that always comes by. He's short. He's actually a tad shorter than me. Real little guy. And he just goes in there to check out the women. He'll park the vehicle in the middle of the of the street. Stupid nonsense like that. And he'll go in there and kind of hit on the women. And I'm sure. And he parked one time, went inside and everything, and I'm standing there, and it's getting breezy. Of course, I'm getting cold, and I'm getting ready to leave, because it's like I said, starting to really cool down. Well, I step outside the booth, and I'm just kind of, walking kind of around the public area, and people are leaving, leaving the bar area, coming by where I'm at, and they're all leaving. And he walks up, and I'll never forget it. This policeman walks up, and he goes, "Man, you're going to have to get out of here." And I'm like, "What?" I'm not bothering anybody, not speaking to nobody, not really doing anything to anybody. And this was about, God, how many months ago was this? This is a pretty good while back. Actually, it was last year. My bad. Yeah, this was last year. And he asked me to leave. And I'm like, well, I'm not going anywhere. I understood if I'm inside, they can throw you out if they want, no matter how stupid it is. And I have a story about that as well that I'll tell next time. But he comes over and he's like, yeah, you're going to have to leave. He goes, you're scaring everybody. And I'm like, I'm scaring everybody, is it my attire? Because the only reason I'm wearing it is because it's cold, I had the hoodie over me because my ears get cold, and I was kind of, it was windy too. The wind had picked up that night. So, and I told him, well, I don't have to go. I said, this is a public sidewalk, sir. I can stand here if I want. And he said, oh, I know you can. And I'm like, then why'd you bring it up, you jerk? And he's like, well, you just have to remember these girls, they have parents. And I'm like, okay. Okay, that's great that they have parents. I did too. And I'm like, okay. And he's like, well, you just have to put yourself in their shoes. And I'm thinking, if they're that terrified of somebody that's as short as me standing there bothering nobody, then they don't need to go out, right? These women. I don't know if any of them said anything or not. I have no idea, because that's what I'm getting to. Well, that same night, that bouncer looked over, and I noticed that I think he's married, and his wife comes there. They're kind of young, but I think he's married to her. And she went inside that night, going inside, and looked over at me. Well, that was right. It was that night that she looked over at me when she was going inside is when that happened. Well, here's the funny thing about this. I think it was the bouncer that did it. I think he went over and because he talks to that cop sometimes. I don't know if they're bros or buddies or whatever it is. But I think he went over to that cop and told him, get him out of here. Well, he can't. It's a public sidewalk. Yeah, they can throw me out of the bar, but I'm not in the bar. I'm outside and away from the bar. It's a public sidewalk. I can stand there all day. And give me a break. And, of course, I'm not bothering anybody, obviously. And so I didn't leave, and I never made no big deal about it. Well, I go back, and he just keeps looking at me. Every time I would go back, this was a year later, and he still looks at me, and he never smiles at me. I think he's trying the dominance thing. You look at somebody and you don't smile, and you give them that stern alpha look, that nonsense. And I just never paid him any mind. And then one night, it was a quiet night, and I was right near the bar area, but I was standing on at one of those meters, that you put the quarters in to park, and I'm just kind of standing there. And it was a quiet night. There wasn't that many people, but he was working that night. And he stepped outside, and I thought, I just ignored him, because I thought, well, you're not running me off, you jerk. And see, I had seen him before any of this happened. I guess I need to tell you this real quick. I had seen him before when I was driving. See, I live in a smaller town, so if people live here, you're going to see a lot of times the same people sometimes. And I came to a four-way stop, and he was coming, towards me, and he stared at me. No smile. Now, this is before any of that happened. No smile. This serious look. Real scummy guy, I can tell. And but I just wanted to mention that he's been doing that for a long time, before I've ever done anything to the guy. But and that's what he does. And I noticed that one of the guys, they would talk about me. They don't like me, I can tell. And I noticed that one of the bouncers that works with him, I can tell he told him to give me the dominance look. Because, I can't get in no fight. You guys know my situation. I couldn't get in a fight if I wanted to. I'd get killed right now. And it would hurt me severely with my nervous system so damaged. And he just kept doing it, and I'm like, you piece of garbage. But I'm not going to let him get to me, because I'm not doing anything wrong, And all of a sudden, there's this other guy that came outside. One night, I was walking towards the area, and he's a big guy, a lot bigger than me. And he looks over at that guy, and he's like, I could hear him. Well, there's that motherfucker. That was his words. Well, there's that motherfucker. And I thought, yeah, they don't like me, But I don't bother them. I stand away from them. I'm at the little booth. It's way away from the bar. And so, I'm not bothering anybody. But one night, he comes outside. And I'm standing there. That was at the meter, you know. And he goes, "Hey man, you coming in or what?" And I remember he was trying to intimidate me because he had one of those cops standing there, you know. And I thought, yeah, he's trying to be a big tough guy because he knows I ain't doing nothing wrong. He can't run me off. And I went, "No, man, I'm good." And I was like, "Are you all right, man?" You know, because you could tell he was real aggressive when he said it to me. You know, it'd be like me saying this to you: "Hey man, you coming in here or not?" You get the aggressiveness of it, you know. And I went, no, I was like, "Man, just calm down a little bit, man." I'm like, "I'm just standing here, I ain't bothering nobody." And he didn't do nothing that night. He's like, "Well, I ain't doing nothing." And boy, after that, oh yeah, he's been treating me like shit ever since. But here's another example, a good example. His wife or girlfriend or whatever she is, she was out one night. I was at our local bowling alley. And she was out with her friends. He wasn't with her. Her girlfriends, her, you know, her not relationship, but her friends, her pals. And I walked by them, and I noticed they kept looking at me and talking, and the friend kept smiling at me all the time. I could see them from a distance where I was sitting. I just never acknowledged them. And they all were smiling and kept looking over and smiling. Not in a mocking way, but like, you know, they couldn't take their eyes off me. Anytime I looked in their direction, they'd turn real quick, you know. And I noticed that where I'm sitting was near the concession stand, where you get snacks and, you know, pay for everything. And I noticed that every time she walked by me, now this was not the friend, but the girl of the bouncer. Every time she would walk by me, she would lower her head and smile and brush her hair every single time. And I thought, you know. And I now wonder, I could be wrong, but I wonder now if he's mad at me because she finds me a little attractive. You know, she's kind of into me. And I think he's trying to prove he's the better male. He's competing for her, you know. But that's another wonderful story that I've had at the bars through the years. And I still deal with this idiot all the time because he still works there. I have not gone inside the bar because I don't want to deal with them having to walk up to the gate and go inside because they want you to show them the ID, you know, and all that. He would try to prove that over me. "Oh, to see your ID," even though I'm obviously of age, you know. And I just don't feel like dealing with their crap. But yeah, it's a tough situation. But you know, what do you do? Just kind of go on and make it the best way you can. But yeah, that's just another story I thought I'd tell you, just to give you an example of just kind of the crap I go through from people, you know. And that's about all I got to say, guys. Hope you enjoyed the story.